Yes, we are live. I am 7 minutes early for those of you watching the recording because last time we had a really tough time getting this to work. So I wanted to make sure that I could get here early. So we got some people coming in already. All right. Awesome. Good afternoon, Jamal, Reed, Mike, Christine. Hello. Please drop where you're from in the chat. I want to connect with you guys, especially if you're in real estate. You know, you're talking to the king of SMS. Also means I'm getting a lot of deals. You know, always down to network, always down to share some value in your business. So drop where you're from, if you know you're doing real estate, what markets you're in, all that good stuff. Don't be shy. Let me see. Okay, cool. So in the meantime, I'm gonna set up my screen and all that good stuff. Thank God that it worked today. No issues. All right, let's see the notes. Oh my goodness. Steve, Market, San Diego. Hey, Steve, I love it. Go ahead and drop in your buy box and your criteria. That's awesome. Tampa, cool. So that's my main market. Nothing under 1,000 square feet. Single family, multifamily, residential, commercial. Cool. So thanks, Steve. What's the name of your company, Steve? Yeah, they don't format to, wherever you're pulling it from. Let's see, webinar. Where are my notes? For those of you coming in, please introduce yourself. Say hello. Don't be shy. Please don't be shy. We are here to connect, learn from one another. Well, in this case, mostly me. But either way. All right, here we go. Found it. Cool. All right. Sammy Home Offers. Well, thanks, Steve. I appreciate you engaging, brother, because, being on one side, especially Webinar Gem does not allow me to bring people on. So I have to try and get as much engagement out of the chat as possible, which is fine. But because of you, I'm into lo-fi with beats. Thanks, man. Well, I'm glad I'm helping some people out get into lo-fi, man. It's so great to study and work and just have something in the background playing. Even whenever I'm dialing, I like to keep it on because it's super nice to just, chill, relax. And actually, I just started doing yoga and maybe like a month ago, and I've been pretty consistent with it, but they like to play lo-fi. So it's nice seeing the atmosphere change. Hello, Christine. Hey, Tracy. Nice to see you, Tracy. Hey, Lexter. Hey, Mandy. So make sure you guys, drop where you're from. Even if you're not from the US, drop where you're from. What country, what city. We international, baby. International. And you guys picked an awesome day to join. I actually ran a campaign today. We're going to talk about it because there's some adjustments that I have to make, and we're going to go over everything because it's also great to learn from somebody that can be transparent, which I am. I am very transparent. I'm going to show you guys everything today. And I'm going to teach you guys a lot of value. And for those of you that are coming, you got to listen to Wicked Samurai. It's that, like, it's got the Japanese kind of beat on it. Here, I'm gonna put that on. I haven't listened to it in a while because I got it on my Spotify. I got the lo-fi playlist downloaded. Sometimes I'll put it on YouTube. In case I want to listen to something different. So Japanese lo-fi. Oh, which one did you mention? You said Wicked Samurai. Wicked Samurai beat. So we got a lot of VAs here. I am so happy to hear that because, a lot of entrepreneurs do delegate this task, and that's fine. But I really appreciate connecting with VAs. A lot of VAs are underappreciated. So if you guys have not been told that you are appreciated in what you do, I am here to tell you, you are appreciated. Thank you for all that you do day in and day out. You guys work the night shift, which is really tough. I used to work the night shift, and I know how tough it can be. I think I'm just going to put some Japanese lo-fi on. Samurai, Japanese lo-fi. There we go. Oh, as you can see, I've listened to it before, so it put me where I left off last time. And actually, it's 40 minutes, so right around what we got going on today. Let me put on my phone on Do Not Disturb to give you guys my undivided attention. Make sure you guys are ready to take some awesome notes. Let's see. Oh, man, we have a VA from Mexico. That is awesome. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm Mexican. I was born there. Then I came here when I was 4. I'm a first-generation immigrant, so I got it out the mud. In other terms, I started from rock bottom. Grew up very, very poor. So if you can relate with that, then I appreciate you guys. This is what it's all about. Real estate is about connecting with people and making sure that you understand who you're talking to on the other line, whether it's a seller, whether it's a VA, whether it's let's see, what else? A client. You can have a client. Then let me go through here. So Lexter, Irvin, hello, Irvin. Mike from Miami, Jose from Monterey, Chris from the Philippines. Of course, we got Herb, Christine from the Philippines, Tracy from the Philippines. Well, you got to make sure you drop what part of the Philippines you're from. Come on, there's a lot of provinces in the Philippines. And my VAs are actually Filipino, and I love them. They always tell me, the meme is like, when you're one drink into a new place, like somewhere that you're visiting, and you're already saying, yeah, I'm going to move here. That's how I felt when I was in Maui. I was like, I'm ready to move out here. Rizal, Philippines. Awesome. Reed, hello. Nice to see you, man. So how many people do we have? 31. Let's get rocking and rolling. What do you guys say? You guys ready to learn something? Let's go. Time to get rocking and rolling. So for those of you that have been with me in other webinars, there's going to be some of the same things, but then also some of the things that I'm still learning, figuring out. And for those of you are new, I'm going to just roll you through a simple introduction to Smarter Contact and some of the new updates. We are always releasing new updates. They're actually going to be rolling out 2.1 tomorrow that handles a lot of the bugs that maybe some guys are experiencing. So let me share my screen. Oops, not that one. Here you go. And if you are just joining, or if somebody joins, I got my webinar notes right here on the right side, so you know exactly where I'm at. And actually, I might have to adjust a couple little things because it seems like, from what I can tell, there we go. Here, let me fix that. Nice. If you guys have any problems seeing my screen, please let me know. All right. So, and if you guys have anything in particular you guys want to talk about, please put it in the chat. I'm going to be trying to look at because I've got my laptop here, which is where the webcam is at. And then I got my widescreen monitor right here, which is where I'm sharing my screen. So that way I have both open, which is a major productivity hack. I'm sorry for mispronouncing that. Essentially, whenever you're running a campaign, you want to make sure you keep it open at all times. That way you can rock and roll and, multitask. So Smarter Contact 2.0, here we go. I wanted to first talk about a few things that I did change in my labels. I'm going to jump around a little bit today, but I promise I'm going to try to make it as fluid today. One thing that you guys really, is my chat working? I'm not seeing my messages. I think you are, Reed. Mandy, is this my company? No, it's not my company. I am just an all-star user. I've made a lot of money using Smarter Contact. So what better way to learn than from a pro, right? Someone that's actually doing this, that's in the grind every single day. And then the great thing that you'll be able to learn is my thought process. So one thing that I really feel like God gave me is the ability to break things down and take you step by step on how I came up with that. And the first thing that we're going to talk about today, David, need help getting appointments. I've sent out close to 32,000 texts so far, but not getting any deals. WTF, help. Yeah, that sounds like a big issue. Definitely a big issue. So I'm running a campaign right now. It's a little lackluster, meaning that it's not performing as much as I would want it to. And so I kept thinking, what's going on? What's going on? Trying to make some deductions, some, reason and formulas a way that it doesn't happen again, or that I can adjust and pivot. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is responses, right? You guys, I'm going to just scroll down here a few of my messages that I've got. A lot of people are saying, no, not for sale. No, thank you. Stop. I hope you, and then this is a message that I sent out. No, thank you. You have the wrong number. I'm not selling. Wrong number. So depending on the type of templates that you're sending, which we'll touch on that today, you have to make sure that you understand the kinds of responses that you're receiving. Not every response means the same thing. And that's why labels are so important, because like if you look at mine, I actually just added one actually on the last webinar. That was a little bit of a disaster because of the webinar jam, but opt out. Now, those of you that don't know, if you are not, if you want to, you can pay $129 extra per month, and you can get the opt-out removed so that you don't have that stop to unsubscribe. Now, that doesn't mean that you still won't have people that respond with stop, but I used to actually put people that respond to stop as not interested. And I'm going to, as I'm reasoning this, I want you guys to understand how it's all coming together. The reason why I would put people that responded with stop as not interested is because, once again, if you always get the same kinds of responses. So I realized that if people are responding to me and they're saying stop, it probably means that they're not interested. But then I started thinking, okay, well, what seems to be the case is that maybe there's some people that opt out that are the wrong number. So I added to avoid any kind of assumptions. That's one thing that we are bad for as humans, especially when you guys are very intelligent. I feel like a lot of people assume, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes you do have to make an assumption just to get another step ahead. And that's one thing that I made a mistake on, right? I made an assumption on people responding stop. But the great thing with labels is that you can add whatever kind of label you want, and I'm going to show you guys how to do just that in just a second. But I added one recently, which is just called opt out, stop. Now, why is that important, right? Why did I do that? Why didn't I just keep labeling them not interested? Well, the reason why I put them as opt out is because they are opting out of a text message. They're opting out of receiving text messages. But that also means that I can call them. I might not be able to text them anymore, but what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to start organizing all the opt-out responses, and then I'm going to have my cold callers call these people and say something along the lines of, hey, we try to reach out to you about a month ago. We just wanted to see if you are the owner of 123 Main Street. Very simple introduction, nice little warm follow-up. But this way, I am trying to squeeze as much juice and data out of these responses, because all of these responses are very important data points. For example, if somebody says no thank you, for this person right here, they said no thank you. Well, that means that they're not interested, but that also means that I have the right person, which is what is really important. If I have the correct number, it's going to allow me to collect this data, and then I can group them together, and I can do another campaign in maybe a year or so and say, hey, we spoke before. At the time, you weren't interested. I just wanted to circle back and see if anything changed on your end. And this is going to be a more highly effective campaign because I have the correct number already because of the small little habits that I'm doing now. If you're in real estate, you have to do things for the long term. There's, for example, Mike, David, you mentioned that you've sent 32,000 texts so far. That's not the end of the road. This is just the beginning, and you're not alone. Mike said that he's right with you. Let's see. JR, I always thought that the reply stop to unsubscribe message is part of regulation. Is it not? So I don't want to get too much into that because honestly, I don't know the specifics. I'm just giving you guys the features. I do know that Smarter Contact as a whole is, approved with all the regulations. So as long as they tell me otherwise, I'm going to continue to run my business. And if that's a feature that they offer, then I'm going to take advantage of it. Let's see, Reed, I've been placing stops into the DNC. Should I be doing this? Probably not. Because, all right, if someone responds, don't contact me anymore, as someone that responds, stop. Those are two complete different responses. But as humans, our minds try to generalize everything. We try to put everything in one bucket. We try to throw everything in one folder, in one label. And sometimes that can be detrimental. We can shoot ourselves in the foot, in a lack of other words, to when we can also just start thinking about more details of making our business as more specific to the way that we're going to run it. Now, as I mentioned to you, the reason why I'm organizing the stops all together is because I can still market to them. I can still cold call them. Now, if that's part of your business that you don't have, maybe you don't have cold callers. I don't know. Then, or maybe you have cold callers, but you would rather have them focus on other things. That's fine too. But I'm just allowing myself an extra possibility of collecting 1 or 2 extra more deals a month just by organizing those responses a little bit more in detail. Make sense? Let me go in here. Let me go in the chat. Everyone with me so far? I'm going to check this. I have a Q&A question. All right, Mike, I just read your question in the Q&A. I have them in two separate, I have to click on Q&A tab. So if I don't see it, I apologize. But yeah, we'll get to that. You know, the responses are everything. You market, you gather responses, aka data, then you add follow-up, and then eventually you get to a deal. Most people have the wrong interpretation of real estate in general. You know, it's very nice to see people on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. All these people are getting deals, making a whole lot of money. And sometimes we like to think that, you know, it's just as easy as they make it seem to be. But, you know, some people take years to get their first deal. Others do it very quickly. But today we're gonna touch on that. I'm gonna help you. So just stick with me, take some notes, and I promise you're gonna get a step further than you already are with the things that I'm gonna talk about. Will you go over some of the wording you use in your text? Of course, Mandy. Yes, I will. Just let me go through some of these labels, and I'll get to that. Yes, with you. Yes, all the way. Yeah, that's a good point. Right now, I'm 100% SMN. It's been working pretty good. Once I implement cold calling, that'll probably be a good strategy. Perfect, Reed. Thank you so much for covering that. You are not using cold calling right now. I just started using cold calling a month ago, literally in July. I am not kidding. And I was able to get my cold callers such a qualified list that in their first month, just two of them were able to get 66 quality leads because of these labels. And we'll talk about that, right? But what I'm helping you do today is just start thinking, how can I organize the data that I'm getting right now to benefit me long term, right? Because, you know, this data, you bought it, you skip trace it, you're spending money on all of this, you know, up until getting responses, you're spending a lot of money per lead. So you want to make it worthwhile. So let's continue. Let's rock and roll. So we just talked about some of the labeling. I'm going to quickly go into how you can create your own labels. So we're going to go into settings. Then you're going to go over here, settings again. And you see right here, it asks you a question, edit label settings. You're going to toggle on. Right. Now you have all of them open. You can type in whatever you'd like. You know, maybe you want to add one that's called DNC to be specific. And then you can, once you add it, you know, you just click add. You can come in here, you can change the color if you'd like, make it nice and pretty, make it, you know, something that stands out, of course. So that's a quick, easy way to show you how to add labels. Everybody with me so far? Also in here, it says refresh rate in minutes. So you can do real time, like I have it set up. You can do it 1 minute, 5 minutes. So what this means is that the messenger page will only refresh based off of this setting. So if you want it done every 15 minutes, you know, maybe you want to collect the amount of responses that you get in 15 minutes, and then you want to go in and respond, and that's perfectly fine. I have in a real time. I feel like that benefits me the most. Open a new tab on click. You can also do that so that when you have a conversation, it opens up a new tab. So in case you have like a really hot lead, or maybe you have something that you need to, like for example, I have one called deep work. I'll show you guys what that means. But this means that I can just go back to it, right? I can find it again. So let's go to, let me show you guys deep work. Show you some examples. All right, so, whoops. So Mandy, here's my message. Happy Tuesday. I pray you and your family are healthy with blessings on the way. I'm trying to, I guess I mistyped there, but it was supposed to say, I'm trying to reach whoever owns 1546 66th Avenue South. Do I have the right number? Then they said that owner of the property is deceased. Please mail any communications regarding the property to the property address. All information will be reviewed and responded to if need be. So this person is basically telling me, hey, you got the right person somewhat, but we're not going to have any kind of conversations through text, which is why I didn't respond. Please mail any kind of information that any kind of offer, any kind of important information to this address. So I labeled it deep work because it's going to take me a little bit more work. That's why I call it deep work. Very self-explanatory, right? But I felt the need to expand upon that. So I did not have an opportunity to do this yesterday. Maybe today after the webinar, I'm going to send them a mailer and figure out what's going on, or write them a handwritten letter. But does this make sense? So what I'm showing you guys here, very quick, easy ways to jumpstart your business. You can use the same labels that I'm using. I've got deep work, opt out, not interested, help, wrong number, sold, agent referral, buyer, dead lead, CRM, a plethora of responses, right? But it allows me to filter them and go into detail when I want to. And then also, for those of you that are VAs, right, there's a few really, there's a few VAs on this webinar. If you guys need help from, your lead manager or your acquisition manager or the owner of the company, make it easy for yourself, right? Make sure that you guys are learning as you go. So if you were caught up on something and you realize, damn, I don't know the answer to that question, I don't know how to overcome that objection, I'm not sure how to respond to this lead, then you have to make sure that it's addressed. Because if the owner of the company is investing their money, not only on your salary, but also on this platform, then you have to do your best into making sure that you can figure it out, right? Maybe you can't figure it out on your own, and it's okay to ask for help. So add a label. I even have a label in here called help, right? So if my VA needs help, they just put it as help. Maybe they didn't know how to respond to that specific message, and boom. Let's see. So how's everything so far? Are we having a good time? Oh man, I'm trying to get back to my other screen so I can type. All right. Thank you, Reed. Thank you, Lexter. I see somebody ask a question, but I'm trying to get to it. Also, what kind of suppression rates or error messages are you seeing? Okay, hold on. Oh, you all registered with Smart Contact, and how has the 10DLC registration affected your system? 10DLC has actually made it easy for me to operate my system. So nothing in regards to that. Also, suppression rates, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but we'll talk about some reporting later. Maybe some KPIs that you have questions on. Cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being engaging. I really appreciate it. Let's keep it up. It helps me, continue to be dynamic and make sure that if I'm doing something right, that I continue to do it. So we've talked about labels. Quickly, we're going to go into uploading a list, as easy as it sounds, right? So contacts right here, this contact tab. You come in here into groups, and you can upload your list. So once you upload your list, you're going to see how it already will give you, for example, if you guys are brand new, then you won't see anything in active chats. But if you guys are existing users, maybe you've been using it for a few months, a lot of times there comes frustration from reaching out to this, like marketing to the same people over and over and over again. Like if the person has already told you wrong number, why would you text them again, right? If the person has already told you, hey, I sold the property, why would you text them again? Doesn't make sense, right? So I talked about this before in my other webinars, but when you upload a list, let's go into example here, this probate list. I've already campaigned, to this list. But as you can see, some of these are blank, and then you have some of them that have a label. Well, if I come in here, and let's click on the one that says wrong number. I asked, do I have the right person? And they said no. I don't have the right person. So I obviously put it as wrong number. Let's say you're uploading a new list. You want to make sure that you come into the list and you check the labels, because now you can come in here, right here where it says all labels, there's a drop down arrow, and you can, for example, click on all the ones that already have labels, because this means if they're showing up like this, this means that they're already in your system. They've already responded to you. Now, what you can do is you can select these on this left side right here, and then you can hit the trash can. It deletes them. So whenever you run a campaign on that list, is removing all the people that have already responded to you. What do you guys think about that? Is anybody using this? Anybody using this very secret feature? Not so secret now that I'm telling you, but is anybody using this? And if you're not using it, let me know if it's going to be beneficial to your business. Oh, I'm not going to delete it, but I'm going to keep it like that. Lexter, no, this is new to me. Can you explain that again? By Sydney. Yes. So let's see, for example, I'm going to upload a new list right now. Actually, let me come in here. Since you guys want to get something, want to get into the specifics of it, let's do it. Let's rock and roll, baby. I told you I was gonna give you some good value today, and that's what I'm gonna do exactly. So I got this. Actually, my VA Angie is kind of working on this today as well. But for the sake of this example, it might take a little bit to load. I'm sorry, guys, if it takes. Let me see if I already have it saved in a file on my. Oh, there it is. All right, so I got S2, right? This I'm gonna download the CSV. Come back in here. I'm gonna upload this list. Browse, downloads. Oh, that's S1, so that's not the one I want. Recent. Okay, there it is. Now S2. I'm gonna put the S2 on the front so I can differentiate. All right. So this is a brand new list that I have not, from my understanding, I have not marketed to it. But as you can see, the name of the list is uncontacted 54,000 mobiles. So these are people that I have not contacted in my REI Sift account. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this bad boy. Bear with me as I click on these headers. In the meantime, drop Sift in the chat if you're using REI Sift. How many sifters do we have on this call today? Anybody? Do we get a copy of this training? Yes, we do. All right. So as you can see, some of them already say like correct. So maybe somebody, maybe for example, my cold callers got them on the phone and they put the right phone tag, but they did not put the right status. If you don't know what I meant by that, don't worry about it. We'll continue to talk about it. So I'm removing I'm doing this, but if you guys don't want to get in trouble, don't do it. Me, I know what to do. I've been doing this for like 3 years, so this is something that I know that I can afford in case somebody tries to sue me. Touch on that real quick. Whenever you guys, when somebody asks for the name of your company, always give them some generic name, like We Buy Houses, or like I use like Freedom Home Buyers or Freedom for Homes, because if they're asking for your business name, they're trying to look you up. They're trying to collect information from you so that they can later go and try and sue you. Now, that's why I always use a fake name. All right, cool. So I just uploaded this brand new list. You guys just watched me do this. Now I'm going to come in here, all labels. So it allows me to see how many of these leads do I actually already have in my system. So for example, I don't want to reach out to people that are not interested. And look, I already have some of those. I don't want to reach out to people that said wrong number. And I don't want to reach out to anybody that says they've already sold the house. So for example, Shane Harris coming in here. So they responded in June of 2021. That was last year about, now this was in regards to 33168 Mulberry Road. I am actually now reaching out about 25555 Powell Road. So he can stay in here. But as you can see, my system is allowing me to view this without even having a campaign yet, so I can see this from a bird's eye view. Hey, like I've already spoke to this person, but let's continue. I'm going to show you. I'm trying to find a good example for you guys. But what this means is that I reached out to him before about a different house. Let's look at Lisa. She said she was not interested. So I'm reaching out about a property in Hillsborough Street in Wimauma, Florida. This person said not interested in selling. Oh, so I reached out about 303 4th Street in February, and then in July again, I reached out about 302 4th Street. Now I'm trying to reach out about 5605 Hillsborough Street, but she's already said not interested to those other two. She's probably going to say no, but once again, what did we talk about in the beginning of the webinar? We don't want to assume. So she can stay. So what I'm showing you guys is how to come in here and look. Have I already spoken to this person? Now, for example, Ashley Barkley, 12497 Jacqueline Road, Brooksville. Before I reached out about 13015 Jacqueline Road. And then 1249 Jacqueline Road. There it is. Oh no, we're reaching out about 497. So she owns like a couple houses on that street. All right. So at least I already know that I have the right number for Ashley, but I haven't reached out before about this particular property. Is everybody with me so far? Yes, it is being recorded. You can have access to it. TJ, can you create a group without adding a list? Yes, you can. You can group labels together to create a group. So how many people appreciate this? How many people feel like this is going to add value in your business? I see that a lot of people are sifters. This is another way to filter out your responses. And once again, I just went over just 3 labels. I can do like the all the other ones. For example, look, this guy was Forzando Avenue in Brooksville. This was Kurt Street. So, all right. Yes, pinpoint accuracy. I do. This is awesome. Thanks. I do. All right. Lecture, well, I am happy that I am blowing your mind, man, because, hey, that's what you're here for, right? You're ready to learn something, baby. So let's continue. So we talked about labels earlier. I showed you guys how to upload a list. I showed you guys how to filter and look for responses, maybe. And this is, there's somebody that, hold on, where is David at? David, are you still here? David, the guy that said that he sent out 30,000 messages. Where do you place? So I use REI to organize all of my data. You need an REI Swift referral code. Yes, I do, Jamal. That you've had more responses and deals. The type of list does not, well, it does matter, but it does not matter. So, okay, hold on, let me go. Esmeralda said, how big are your campaigns? Do you upload big lists to last you a few weeks or weekly to be able to switch the templates? It depends. Right now, I have like 50,000 numbers that I'm going to text, like over the span of like 2 to 3 months so I've got my marketing plan for like the next 2 to 3 months. I don't have to worry about that no more. That's already taken care of. As you saw, my VA is actually organizing it for me right now in CSV files so that I can just upload them. Actually, she might upload them for me. What type of list do I have? I mean, I have everything. Everything. You name it, I got it. And that's the key. Diversity is key. So let me go back into the chat. All right, David. So this is really important for you to see, brother, because you want to make sure that you can come back into those 30,000 people that you've texted, and I can guarantee you there's still a lot of people that have not responded. So for example, let me come in. Who are you using for skip trace? So Smarter Contact has skip tracing. I have used them. They have been the most reliable. And then recently I started using Skip Matrix. Same pricing as Smarter Contact. And I'm testing them out, trying to see what kind of data I can get from them. So, David, this is for you. I hope you are paying attention, my brother. So, for example, remember, like, for example, this is June 18th, 2022, mobiles. I have 921 contacts in here, and I only got 126 chats. So that's basically a little bit over 10% responses that I received. So what was that? Why does that matter? So if I go into Melissa Letke, right, this first one, she did not respond to me. I texted her July 27th, and she did not respond to me. Does that mean that I have the wrong number? I don't know, but she has not responded. So David, what I recommend is, even if you guys have bad delivery rates or bad response rates or carrier block rates, you guys now have a very powerful tool to be able to come into the exact campaign that you did, and you can call these people one by one and figure out what happened. I can call Melissa right now and say, yo, Melissa, I texted you like in July, and I didn't receive a response about the property on Emerson Avenue. Do I have the wrong number, or did you already sell it? What's the deal? And you always want to ask a question at the end. David, you want to make sure that whenever you send a message, you ask an engaging question. Did you already sell it? Did you decide to keep it? Whatever the case may be, the answer is fine. You just want to know. What is your delivery rate and response rate? Trying to understand what the average tends to be. I'll have to check my KPIs, and we'll talk about that later, Reed. So far, so good. Let me take a break here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. So does anybody have any questions so far about everything that I've covered? Everybody with me? All right, so you guys just want to get into the bread and butter of it. You want to talk about KPIs. I got you, Jose. All right, let me pull out my KPI sheet. So, let's see. Oh, actually, I forgot that I wrote this down. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my whiteboard here. So, I can't remember when I wrote this down. I think it might have been like June or July. But over the past year, I had sent 286,000 messages. Out of those 286,000 messages, I received 45,000 responses, which puts me at a 16.2 average for response rate. Out of all of that, my delivery rate was about 82%, right? Who asked this question? Reed. So you're asking about KPIs and numbers. That's important stuff, right? And I'm gonna talk to you guys about why I feel like it's not as important. So out of those KPIs, 286,000 text messages sent, 45,000 responses, 16.2 response rate. I made over $350,000 in assignments, right? So you tell me, is that good KPIs? Bad KPIs, right? For me personally, it doesn't matter. It made me money. So how do you respond to make me an offer? Make me an offer. I typically, my VA actually taught me a cool one yesterday. They were like, would you list your car on Craigslist for with no asking price? I'm sure you have a ballpark, but make me an offer. I typically respond with, well, does the property need any kind of work? Because if their response is, oh, it doesn't need any kind of work, then I respond, well, why don't you list it? Oh, and then that's when they tell me, yeah, I've thought about it, or nah, I don't want to go through the headache of listening. And then that's when the water comes out, the truth. Just curious, how many phone numbers you are using for sending out messages? Do you register those? Yes, 5 numbers. If you go with Smarter Contact, you can only have 5 phone numbers, and you keep those 5 phone numbers. It's going to allow you to build the credibility with those phone numbers. My delivery rate is about 80-85%. Great. Cool. So let's talk about KPIs and why I feel like they don't matter. Earlier in the webinar, I talked about how today I'm running a campaign. It's kind of lackluster, meaning I feel like it could have been better. I'm gonna show you guys. So today, 73% delivery rate, 5% response rate, 14% carrier block rate, right? For some of you, that might be like, oh man, that's so scary. Like, shit, I'm gonna have to switch carriers or like switch platforms. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Don't be afraid. There's the reason why people feel fear is because they don't know how to move forward when problems arise. And I'm gonna teach you that today. I'm gonna teach you how to fish. So, but as you guys saw, I just showed you a quick way to come into the unresponded leads. Now I'm gonna go into KPIs. Oh, and actually, let me go into this was Wednesday, and then yesterday I got a freaking 14.75 response rate and 0% block. My messages didn't change much, but my performance did. Nice to hear, Reed. So let me go into KPIs. Look, KPIs like performance like that, it changes over time. What you want to make sure you're doing is that you're focusing on the right things. So I have my KPI sheet pulled up. I've got these are my cold callers. And then I've got Smarter Contact down here. This was for July. I haven't updated my performance for this month just yet. But let's go over Smarter Contact performance in July. I sent 10 campaigns. I went through 6,000. So for those of you that are sifters, how many records is that? Well, that's 6,631 records, 11,803 phone numbers. My delivery rate was 88.71, so let's just call it 89. Carrier block was 1%. Response rate, 13.61. Now, this is where it gets very important. David, are you still here? Can I get David to respond with a yes? Because this is going to be really important for you moving forward. David? Can we get David in the house? All right, maybe he left. I don't know. So whenever you guys are collecting responses, you want to keep track of this information. So as you can see right here, I have responses 2,000. So out of all those phone numbers that I texted, I only got 2,000 responses. Now, only sounds like a little bit, but it's actually a lot. Out of those responses, 9 of them were hot leads. 116 of them are prospecting, and 20 of those are follow-up, right? So this means that I just added to my pipeline 145 leads in 1 month. 145 leads in 1 month. Do you guys listen to that? So the problem with a lot of people that get into SMS is that they don't have a train of thought on how to go forward. You don't have an organized method of how to move forward in your business. And you're spending this money on the data, the skip tracing, the text messages, the membership. You have to make sure that all of that is going somewhere. I don't let anything fall through the cracks. Actually, I do, but we'll talk about that later. Most importantly, once someone responds to me, I want to make sure that I put that somewhere. Like I'm collecting that somewhere, right? And I've got my pipeline here. I'm not going to show you my pipeline, but that's where all of those responses are going. You know what I mean? That's why it's important. So, what do you classify as a lead? Well, that's a good question. Leads, when it comes to doing real estate, people are at different parts in their journey in life, right? Some people are ready to sell. There's people that need a couple of months. There's some people that need a year or so. There's some people that need a couple of years. Me, I'm in this forever. Like I don't ever see myself doing anything other than real estate. I only do these webinars because it's fun to give back to the community and I want to help you guys. And for me, I know that as long as I can introduce myself to these people and I can add them on a follow-up, I'm going to increase my likelihood of getting more deals over time because once again, I am following up and I'm following through. So if this person tells me, hey, check back with me in a year, I'm adding a reminder on my phone. Even if it's in 2023, I'm going to put it down. A lot of people don't do that. Why? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. So now, for example, these 9 hot leads, hot means to me, they're giving me a price and they're giving me a timeline. So this means that if they're giving me those two things, I have to figure out where they fall into my pipeline. Maybe I just need to follow up with them next week. Maybe they're ready to go ahead and sign a contract. I want you guys to guess how many deals I got from this month's performance. So I sent 11,803 text messages. How many deals, like signed contracts, do you think I got? Read, I use REI Sift. And exactly, Mandy. Unless they're telling me no or it's sold, then it don't matter. So contract signed. I got 3 contracts signed from this month's performance. And I have even more leads in the pipeline. I'm showing you guys the leads that I'm generating from SMS. They're just going into my pipeline. And I just, everybody has a different situation. So I can't go into specifics on like why this person's not ready to sign just yet. But what I'm showing you guys here is that you have to have a process past smarter contact. So David, you mentioned you sent 30,000 messages. You've got leads in there, bro. Like I can guarantee you if I go into your smarter contact account, I can generate at least 2 to 3 deals from that. And I can get even more follow-ups for the future. So every month is different, guys. Just because that's my performance off of last month, I could text message let's say 20,000 numbers this month and generate no leads. No deals. I'm sorry, no signed contracts. That's just the nature of the beast. You just want to make sure that you do what you're doing to understand their situation, see if you are even a good fit for them. If you're going to talk about price, see how close you are to their ballpark range. And then that's how you guys create leads. I was reading in REI Sift earlier. The problem with people in real estate is you're not making offers. You guys need to be making offers. Off of this month, I don't have it written down, but I can tell you that I made at least 20 offers. Out of those 20, I only got 3 to say yes. And that's fine. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. I have no quarrels with that. Don't be greedy in this market. Don't let your ego get the best of you. Just do what you can and make sure you put all your trust and all your confidence in your process. And that's what I'm showing you guys today. Bring it, I'll split them with you. Actually, for those of you guys that don't know, I am offering consultation services now where I do that, where I can go into your account and I can figure out like what's going on, like into specifics, she's not here, but there was a VA that reached out to me last week. she wanted me to do that, and I did that. I helped her out, and I figured out what was going on. And then I also offer my text messages. I've got over 200 text message templates that I offer. They're not cheap. They're $500. If you want my text messages, it comes with macros as well. They're $500. But hey, I'm showing you guys what this produces. How many leads do you text a month? Reed, that's a good question. I try to send at least 10,000. So as you saw, it was only 11,000 in July. That was kind of cutting my minimum. But this upcoming, in August, I'm trying to do like 20,000, which is why I have that campaign going on right now of like 2364. So just today, I'm doing over 2,000 text messages. If I get like a 10% response rate, that would be 236 responses. If only one lead comes from that, I mean, I'm good with that. That's fine. So let's see, it's 250. Does anybody have any questions? Mandy, I have two VAs. I did have a third one, but he only came on part-time. AJ, in my KPIs, you can see I've got records at 6,631, phone numbers at 11,803. Can you share how to do bulk SMS? Luke, we just went over all of that. I'm not sure. Maybe if you can rephrase your question. Who to use for cold calling? I hire my own cold callers off of onlinejobs.ph. Let's see, Q&A only. Mike asked, do you have a link for consultation? So send me an email if you want a consultation with me. And so yeah, please share what you need help with in specific. I don't want to charge for something that can be answered, pretty quickly. Try to be fair. I've been broke before. Not saying that you're broke, just saying that I value your money and I value your time. Do you have preset responses, or do you let them have a normal conversation? I have preset responses, yes. So how important is the list? Some say it needs to be super focused and highly motivated sellers. What are your thoughts? So the list is important, right? But what's more important is consistency and follow-up. Now, I know that seems a little cliche, maybe generic, but it's true. Let's say, for example, let's say you go driving for dollars and you find only vacant properties that look run down. And let's say you come up with 1,000 of them. That is a very powerful list, right? You can tell that these sellers are going to be highly motivated. Now, and then let's say you find a phone number for every single lead and you text them. Let's say you text them. Well, and then you don't, and you get maybe a 10% response rate out of that 1,000. That puts you at 100 responses. It doesn't mean that people are going to be ready to sell right away. It could be in probate, so it takes time to get through probate. You might have trouble actually getting in contact with the person. If they are hard to get in touch with, then they are a higher likelihood of giving you a really good price, because maybe they're really busy. Maybe they'll run a business and they don't have the time to talk, right? Maybe they run a business and they have these rentals with bad tenants. They probably don't even want to talk about the situation. So Bree, it's a combination, of course, but once again, it's all about consistency and follow-up. That's something that I can offer you in my consultation. I can offer you marketing plans. I can offer you quick ways to Make sure you're following up and following through all of those processes. Let's see. Thank you guys so much for the questions. I really love this. I love answering questions, and I really appreciate you guys being engaged. And it seemed like a lot of you guys did pay attention. Let's see. Are you able to go over some SMS templates? Yes, Reed. I'll go over some. The SMS we do will be for different SMS. So is there a way to do 10 SMS at once? The SMS we do will be for different SMS. So is there a way to do 10 SMS at once? If you, I don't believe you're using Smarter Contact. Smarter Contact allows you, like right now, I'm sending text messages. Like I said, I'm sending 2,000 messages. Let me come into this. Look, I started at 10 o'clock, right? We've already texted 702 of the contacts. This campaign is not going to end until tonight around 8 o'clock. You know, I'm on Eastern time. So to answer your question, this is bulk SMS. What do your responses look like? I just want people to be engaged. I do end with an open-ended question, but some people just follow. I just want to compare. Good. All right, Mandy. So I'm going to help you out. Mandy, I'm going to engage with you directly right now. Nobody else. Mandy, I want you to tell me what's the most important question for you to ask. Let's say, for example, you text the lead, they respond to you. Yes, this is the owner. What is the next question you ask? Mandy, what is the next question you ask after you confirm that you have the right person? Reed, to answer your question real quickly, quarterly. I recycle my data quarterly. So Mandy, you text the person, they respond, yes, I'm the right person. What is your follow-up question? Because this is where the gap lies. You know, this is where people miss out on opportunities. Mandy, you still with us? Maybe she put it in the Q&A. Let me go over here. How often do you follow up with a prospect who sent you a positive response until they sell the house or until they sell it to me? I noticed that you may have a house for sale. Have you ever? All right, Mandy. Well, that's the issue. You know, that question right there seems a little redundant. If you notice the house is for sale, then of course they're considering selling it. All right, so I'm gonna help you out, Mandy. Look, 5 steps, right? 5 steps. You don't have to go through all 5 steps. All right. The first one is confirming if you have the right person. That's actually your first text message. You know, most of the time when I text people, I end in, do I have the right person? Or do you own that property? Do you own that house? Do you own that place? Use a thesaurus. And after that, I'm asking, have you considered selling the property? Right? If they say yes, then my third question is, do you have a price in mind for the property? Right? And if they say no, then I ask them, does the property need any kind of work? Right? Now, one thing that I'm going to show you real quick, Mandy, I'm going to show you this lead. All right. I'm going to show you this lead. All right. I'm going to show you this lead right here. I changed my settings because of you guys. All right. Should be good now. All right. So check this one out. I texted him in May. I went over this in my last webinar. I texted him in May. He said, yes, I have the right person. I asked him, I was hoping I had the right person. Have you considered selling at all? He said, yes, it has been talked about. I will call you in just a bit if that's okay, eating lunch with some friends. I responded, sure thing. And then he called me the day after. I didn't answer. And guess what? That was in May 21st. May, June, and then July. So 2 months after this original conversation. This is where I'm showing you guys that you're probably getting good leads. You just are not following through. And then he went through one of my campaigns. So Reed, here is where I recycled this lead. This is recycled data. As you can see, the campaign name was new/uncontacted probates. He confirmed yes. You know, is there something I can help you with? And then look, that was at 5 o'clock that afternoon. I didn't respond to him until Saturday morning, which was the day after. And then he responded that night, 7:32 p.m. Yes, I'm trying to decide if I want to fix it up and sell it or sell it as this. That was on Saturday. I didn't hit him back until Monday. So now we just went through, not including when I hit him up in May, Friday, Saturday, Monday. Sunday, Monday. That's 4 days of this conversation. What's going on is I'm not getting on the phone with this guy. You have to get on the phone with people. So make a decision on how many questions you want them to answer for you to get them on the phone. For me, if they tell me, yes, I'm interested in selling, anything else outside of that is extra, but I want to get on the phone with them ASAP. And now with the new update, you can come in here and you can call them. You know, you can call them directly from Smarter Contact. So why don't you get on the phone with these people? Cool. I think the response is slow. So Mandy, I hope that covered it, but it sounds like you need to figure out what questions are most important to you. I just went over my 5 to confirm. You know, I am asking if I have the right person, if they're interested in selling, their price, the condition, and the time. That's it. And you know, the thing is that you don't want to have a really long conversation through text message. You want to get on the phone ASAP, because this is the opportunity for you to shine. This is where you can build a rapport, get to know them, figure out if it's even a good idea for them to do business with you. Bree, yes, 5 steps. Well, Bree, I hope you appreciated me going through those 5 steps. Reed, do you have your personal cell as a forwarding number? Do you have it? I have it going to Google Voice, Reed. Yes, Reed. And of course, Mandy, yes. From, you know, and that's the power of getting on the phone. When it comes down to marketing, whether it's direct mail, text messaging, Facebook ads, SEO, Google SEOs, at some point you have to get on the phone. So technically, yes, although the deals that I have come from SMS, I am getting them under contract on the phone. Let me go and look at these questions that you guys are asking here. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Cool. Is the market affecting your business at all? It seems like some still want high prices for their properties that are not worth it anymore. I am glad somebody asked that question, Esmeralda. So, the market is changing, right? This is a wonderful opportunity for everybody that's doing wholesaling or fix and flip, whatever it may be, because you can just tell the seller, look, Mike. You know, let's say Mike is the owner of the property that I'm reaching out to. Mike, I want you to go online right now and see, and just Google what they're talking about in the economy. Google how Russia is going to war with Ukraine. We've been doing that all year. Google how China wants to go to war over Taiwan. Do you really think, Mr. Seller, that in the next 6 months, we're going to continue to go up? No, absolutely not. So I know that I might be coming a little low in my offer, but I am just being a very smart investor. I wouldn't be in business if it wouldn't be otherwise. And I really need you to understand where I'm coming from. I am preparing for what's going to happen in 1 year. I'm not looking at what happened last year. Okay. This is a skill. You have to be able to bring people down to earth, down and put them in a reality. You cannot be giving people 2021 prices anymore. It's 2022. So, and then guess what? What follows after 2022? 2023. We don't know where that's going to be. obviously we're not going to continue to go up forever. We've been going up for the last 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. 10 or more years. I could be, yeah, I think it's more than 10 years. But so you ask that question to the sellers. Do you really think that after 10 years of going up and up and up, we're going to continue to go up again next year with all the news that are going on? Look at the stock market. The stock market's going down. It's been going down for, here, I'm going to show you. Oh, actually, I'm not sharing my screen anymore. I forgot. All right, but I hope that helped you guys. Was that helpful to anybody? Yeah, Reed, that's my Goku. He's my spirit animal. I want to make my SMS more supplemental because the success is low. Mandy, the most important thing about marketing is making sure that you have your marketing channels working together. Now, me personally, I was so good at text messaging because I know how it works. Yeah, I've been doing this for 3 years consistently, right? But the most important thing for those of you that have higher level businesses is if you're using cold calling, text messaging, direct mail, they have to work together. That's why REI Sift users are so successful, because you learn how to make them all work. So, for example, if let's look at here. I'm gonna look at switch my computer around a little bit. You guys got me on a TED Talk now. Sorry, I'm disconnecting from my monitor. I'm gonna put you on my whiteboard now. All right. So, Mandy, I showed you my KPI sheet earlier. You saw that I am getting many more responses with SMS than I am with cold calling. Why? Because you can just send SMS in bulk, right? So if you can text, let's say per month, 20,000 people or 20,000 numbers, right? But you can only call, let's say 5,000 numbers, right? Then that means that if you start with SMS as like the bulk of it, then you go to cold calling. Then you go to something that is a little bit more specific, like direct mail. And then you have like door knocking. Then you basically are starting an upside down funnel, a triangle, where you have, with SMS, I just showed you how I am collecting all these responses, right? All the not interested, the wrong number, the solds, right? That's like the top layer of like BS. Those are the people that, they're obviously not going to sell to me because of those reasons. They're not a good lead. Then in cold calling, let's say you focus on the people that are unresponded, the people that you're adding to your pipeline, right? Those are the people you're calling. And then in direct mail, you're reaching out to the people that have still not responded. And why have they not responded? Probably because they don't have a mobile number. You can't find a number, no numbers. And let's say, for example, these people are not responding even after you sent them all those 3 things. Then that's when you want to start door knocking, because you can't find a phone number for them. And maybe they don't even receive mail. Maybe you have to find them. You have to find where these people are at. So, was this helpful to anybody, Mandy? You said all my leads are CC and I'm in DM basically, but having SMS would be great too. I just suck at SMS, I guess. You don't suck. This is you have an area of opportunity that you can grow into, and that is the key. Find acceptable outcomes for yourself, right? If you're going to use text messaging, make sure that you're organizing these responses like I showed you today. Let's see. Maribel, we paused our SMS channel last year because of the changes. It's focused on cold calling. We are now planning to do SMS again, but has to do a lot of research. The number one reason why people are not successful with SMS or even in real estate is because they have no plan. They don't plan for how long they're going to do it, how long they're going to market, how much money they're going to spend, how often they're going to do it. Once you have these leads, what are you going to do with them? That's the reason why people are not successful. If you want consistency, ask yourself those questions. Visualize the end in mind. That I get that from the 7 Habits. It's a very powerful book from the back in the day by Stephen something. I haven't read it in a while, but it's a really great book. 7 Habits. I highly recommend it. Visualize the end in mind. So you want to walk through the steps of like your business. What's going to happen after one thing leads to another. So, what do you guys think? Did you enjoy this webinar? Stephen Covey, yes, Sydney, thanks. Yes, I couldn't remember his last name. Stephen Covey. Yeah, sure. I mean, this is the funnel. It's kind of backwards, I think, because of the webcam. But you have in SMS the not interested, the wrong numbers, the solds. You're removing those out of your data or your campaigns. Then in cold calling, you have the unresponded from SMS, your pipeline from SMS, and then in direct mail, you have your unresponded from cold calling and SMS. And then in direct mail, you have those people that don't have a phone number, so you can't cold call them, you can't text them. And then another thing in direct mail are the ghost. How many of you have people that ghost you? Like you thought you were about to lock them up like a dirt cheap, they were ready to go, and then boom, they just ghost you. You probably need to send them, a letter and say, yo, like, we were having such a good conversation. Did I do something wrong? Did I mess this thing up somewhere? Then you have door knocking. For those of you that don't know, door knocking is a marketing channel. Go knock on these people's door and say, hey, look, not to be intrusive, but I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, I'm gonna put. Gosh, I wish we were on Zoom so I could bring you guys on. But this is great. Thank you guys so much for coming. Oh crap! Sorry, I'm gonna put this on my Instagram. I'm gonna put my Instagram so you guys can follow me, and I'm gonna continue to share more stuff. Yeah, exactly, Mandy. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, you gotta show up to these people's houses. I know it sounds crazy, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. If you don't get it, somebody else will. So, oh yeah, let me share my Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, you can find me on Facebook, Kevin Hernandez. Yeah, and my full name, Kevin Hernandez. Bria, I have a question. How do you respond when they say, I've gotten 100 calls and texts about this property and they want top dollar? Where did you come up with that number? That's the best question to ask. Where did you come up with that top dollar? And then they might say, oh, well, Jose down the street, just sold his house for X amount of dollars. And then they say, and then if they're giving you the exact way they came up with that number, that's your opportunity to reason with them. Okay, well, let me talk to you about Jose's house. Did Jose's house, I mean, I see that Jose's house, you pull it up and see what kind of amenities it had, what kind of updates it had. All right, so I see Jose's house had granite countertop. Does yours have granite countertops? No? Okay, all right. Well, I mean, Jose's house had a pool. Does yours have a pool? No? Okay. Jose's house had solar panels. Does yours have solar panels? Thanks, Reed. Yeah, I love my bike. My bike is, hey, whenever you guys get stressed out, or when I get stressed out, I get on my bike, I forget about everything. I'm just in the present moment. Top dollar was 2011. Cool, guys. Well, hey, I had so much fun today, and you guys made it very fun, very easy to have fun today because you guys were engaging. I love when I have people on my webinars that engage with me, whether you're a VA, a business owner, entrepreneur, you're just getting started in SMS, and you're asking these questions. This is the perfect opportunity to ask questions because you're coming in here, spending time with some stranger on Webinar Jam, and just trying to learn something. So I hope you learned something today. Seemed like you guys did. So thank you so much. If there's any other questions, please ask. But other than that, that's all I have for today. I'm going to stick around just in case there's any last minute questions. But other than that, the webinar is done. So thank you so much for coming today. Have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday, an awesome rest of your week. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, thank you. I'm going to follow you back, and hope to continue to connect with you guys. Oh, I'm sure somebody's gonna need a realtor in LA. Yeah, LA, that's dreamland. My pleasure. It was my pleasure to be up here today. Yeah, give us until Friday to get the replay. Excuse me. I need to drink some water. Yeah, give us until Friday for the replay to come available. But yeah, you'll get it. Yes, Alex. Yes, if the lead response would stop, they automatically put it in the opt-out list, and you cannot respond to them in SMS, which is why I mentioned earlier that it's really great to make sure that you label those as opt-out, because then you can pull the opt-out list out of Smarter Contact, pull it out as a CSV, and you can call these people one by one. Hey, is this the person that owns 123 Main Street? And they can tell you yes or no. Once again, like I showed in the funnel, the upside down funnel, if it didn't work with SMS, try it with cold calling. Where there is a will, there is a way. Oh, I might take a nap. There's still 23 of you up here? I guess you guys just like hearing me talk. Should I be concerned about a market being oversaturated? I know competition is good, but if I've got a limited budget, should I try to find the smaller, less saturated area or just lean into it? So this is a mindset shift. You have to change your perspective, because if you believe in scarcity, it does not allow you to see the abundance. I can guarantee you that you are not in an oversaturated market. I am in Tampa Bay. I am in Tampa, Florida. We are the number one market in the entire United States, maybe even the world. And do you think that I wake up in the morning thinking, damn, am I going to get a deal today? No, I think I need to follow my process today. Who am I going to follow up with? How many texts am I going to send? You need to stop thinking about production and start thinking about processes, habits, abundance, the right mindset, because there's no such thing as oversaturation. That's just fear. That's fear, in other words. And my suggestion to you would be, If the market is oversaturated in your mind, right, that probably means that there is other people doing a lot of business in that market. That's actually a market that I would probably jump into right away, because if there's a lot of buyers in that area, then it's going to make it easier for you to sell a deal. If you go to a less saturated area, or let's say like a rural town, it's going to be so much harder for you to find a buyer, right? And that you're going to make it tough for yourself. So I'll give you a little bit more of advice or suggestions. Try to go driving for dollars in the suburbs of wherever you are. What city are you in? What is this city that you are worried about oversaturation? Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York City, Houston. Got it? Okay. All right. Well, let me know if you need any other help. I'll put my email down here. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Message me on Instagram. I am available to answer any kind of questions you want. Orlando? Oh yeah, Orlando's good. I mean, yeah, you're in a good market. You're in a good market. And if anything, come market in Tampa. I invite you. Oh, we have a question. How big is my list need to be to pull out 2 deals my first month using SMS? Fort Lauderdale. Um, so I mean that's a good question. That reminds me of a meme that I'll talk about that at a later time. So, if you want to pull 2 deals in Fort Lauderdale, what I would suggest, go driving for dollars. That's going to be your best kind of list. And once you gather, let's say 1,000 or 2,000 of those leads from driving for dollars in Fort Lauderdale, because I know Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale has the hood. You know what I'm saying? Those gentrifying areas, that's where landlords love to buy. That's where flippers love to buy. So go find those areas that are hot, right? And then once you have like 1,000 or 2,000, text them. Start texting all of them. Find those phone numbers. Then out of those, let's say for example, you find like 2,000 leads driving for dollars. I can guarantee you that out of those 2,000, you're probably only going to find phone numbers for like 500 to 1,000 of them. So that leaves like 1,000 other leads that have no phone numbers. So you have to make sure that you can direct mail them, or even if you're writing those by hand, do that and establish a process in your mind. All right, so I'm going to draw for dollars. Then I'm going to skip trace them. Who are you going to skip trace it with? Are you going to do one-off skip tracing? And then let's say you do the skip tracing. All right, am I going to text them? Am I going to call them? Am I going to do both? Which one comes first? That's up to you. The third one would be, am I going to direct mail them? And then after that, am I going to door knock, the mailing address? That's my Instagram, Erica, in case you didn't get it earlier. And Charlotte, yeah, actually, I did market outside of Charlotte too, not too long ago, earlier this year. It's a good market. I mean, wherever you decide, just make sure that you can, you follow through. Oh shoot. I like what Henry Ford said. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. All right, so it's 3:23. I went over a lot, but thank you so much for joining. Kevin is about to leave the webinar. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. Thank you so much for joining.